All right, my computer crashed again. So we're starting off with the ABC problem where we have the CPA has four different allocation or activities that he wants to spread their cost across, which is office supplies, computer fees, secretaries, and rent. Okay. It's driven by the hours billed, the computer hours used, number of clients, and type of services. So the first thing you're going to do is determine what your overhead rate is. You're going to take the total overhead for office supplies and divide it by the total activity. So in this case, for office supplies, we have bookkeeping at $1,200 and tax at $800. So the sum of those are $2,000. So I'm going to take $2,000, divide it into $16,000. I get $8 per hour, hour billed. Supplies or computer fees, we have a total cost of $24,000. We have a total hours of 1,000. So I'm going to take 24 divided by 1,000 gives me $24 per hour. For the secretary, it's 30,000 divided by 100 clients. So it's going to be $300 per client. And then for rent, we pay $18,000. We have two different types of activities. So 18 divided by 2. So we're going to allocate $9,000 to each activity. So to get the bookkeeping overhead rates or amount that we're going to allocate to bookkeeping, I'm going to take the 8 times the 12, the 24 times the 400, the 300 times the 16, and then the 1 times the 9,000. So we have a total of $33,000 going to bookkeeping for our overhead. Now we have assigning product costs. We can do this through job costing or process costing. In job costing, it's used if production of a service is unique or custom, and costs are accumulated by job. Now, direct materials or direct labor is very easy to do. We just trace it to the job, what's used on the job. The overhead is allocated using a overhead rate that we determined before. So let's take a look at this one. We have process costing. Process costing is dealing with a process. So in this case, we're going to deal with a chair. We have 15,000 shares that were in our beginning inventory. We added 75,000. We completed 10,000. So we have we completed 80,000. So we have 10,000 left. Our beginning inventories was 24 and 35 for conversion costs. Materials, we added 168. In conversion costs, we added 278. So this is going to be a very good chart to remember how to do. On the test, you're going to be given some spreadsheets or some papers that you can print out, but I would probably have Excel opened up for you guys on the side so you can go back and forth on this. So in this case, again, we begin with 15. We added 75, so we have to account for 90,000. We transferred out 80,000, so that means that 100% of the materials and the conversion costs were included. So we just take 100% times 80 and get 80,000 for materials. For our units and conversion costs, same thing. Now in work in process, ending work in process, it said that it was 80% complete as to the conversion costs. We are assuming, because they did not indicate anything else, that 100% of the direct materials were added when we started these things. So 100% of 10,000 is 100 or 10,000. So that's my direct materials units. For ending work in process, it's 88,000. So because I took 10,000 times 80% and get 8,000. So my equivalent units for materials is 90,000, and for conversion costs, it's 88,000. Now, because this is weighted average, I care about the beginning amount in work in process. So I have 24,168. So total cost to account for is 192. I take that 192 divided by 90,000, and I get $2.13. Again, we care about beginning for conversions. So we had 35, we added 278. So I have a total cost that I have to account for is 313. and then I'm going to divide that by 88. I get $3.56. Now it's important to use Excel on these because you do not round here. A lot of people were rounding on their homework assignments, and so what was happening, their numbers to allocate were a little off. So don't round until the very end. So I'm going to take that 213, and all I'm going to do is multiply it by these numbers in the equivalent units up here. So 213 times 80,000 gives me 170,666.67, and that's the cost that I'm going to allocate out. And then the conversion cost, the 356 times 80,000, that gives me 284,545.45, and that's my total amount to be transferred out is 455, 212.12. And then same thing with the 213 times 10,000, that gives me 213 or 21,333. 356 times 8,000 gives me 28,454. So then if you notice down here, it's the same. If I add these two numbers, it's the same as what I have to account for. And that's your tieback. Now, in capital budgeting, we have the non-discounting, where it's involving payback period and the accounting rate of return, and discounting is the net present value. So in this case, I am buying a $23,000 machine, and my allowed savings in cash operating costs, it's over 4 years. So we have 10,000, 8,000, 6,000, and 5,000. For a total cost savings of 29. So what is my payback period? It's very simple to do. I just go straight down the line. I have 10,000. Well, I have until I reach 23,000. So I have 10,000 and then 8,000. That's 18,000. If I add that, that gets me over the amount. So what I want to do is I want to take the amounts that I need, which is 23,000 minus 18,000, because those are the first 2 years. That's $5,000. That's all I need of year 3. So I'm going to divide that by 6,000. So it's going to take me 2.83 years to get a payback. So my payback is 2.83 years. All right. I'm going to go ahead and post these answers up to the Blackboard. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask. Again, the final is available until Friday, May 6th on 5 p.m. And if you have any questions during the final, please do not hesitate to ask. Again, I apologize for the issues with my computer, and we'll go from there. Thank you and have a great day.